It's getting worse. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Renatus J.A.M. My name is Jay Stark, and joining me as always is my fearless co-host,
Mr. Matt Snyder.
And we are having a good time today.
We are. We're having a good time. We're barely putting it together before the podcast here. Jay was laughing so hard he couldn't talk.
Oh, it's one of those things where you start to laugh. You know you shouldn't be laughing, which makes you laugh even harder.
Yeah. That's the best thing about those laughs. I swear, add a year to your life. I'm telling you, like it's got to operate on some level with the immune system or something, because
Right.
like you feel so good after the kind of laughs that you have when you are trying not to. It's an inappropriate place.
Oh yeah,
for you
wrong
laughing,
place, wrong time,
and it just comes out 10 times harder, and you're just laughing, and I love that because you feel so good afterwards.
So the problem is that like when me and the kids do this, it's usually when Whitney's trying to be serious.
Oh yeah.
And so we're busted up. She's trying to be serious, and then I get smacked every time. It's just so funny.
Yeah, I know. I've done it to my dad a few times. So he's trying to be serious, and I can't get it together.
Oh man. Oh yeah. Me and the boys especially. Like me and my two sons. I don't know what it is, but every once in a while, when those knuckleheads get going, I just cannot stop laughing at them.
And especially when like kids, specifically with kids when they stay up late at night, like they're past their bedtime, and they start to get
super slap happy.
Yeah.
Oh man, it just gets funny. It gets really, really funny. Well, it was really funny because as we went to start this call, we were deliberately trying to annoy.
We're messing with Andrew in the back because he was telling us to can it because he's got to start the podcast, and Jay just kept talking and laughing, and
so then all of a sudden
talking.
The music starts so loud in my headphones that it starts to crackle.
I don't know if he dialed it up back then, like shut up guys, and it was like popping in my headphones. It was awesome. I loved it.
Oh man. Well, we are excited to be here. Today is going to be a relatively short podcast. We're going to go over a few updates, and then we're going to call it good for the week.
Yeah.
But I want to recognize Mr. Hiller, who's joined us on the line. If anyone else is out there with us, feel free to drop a comment. Always love to interact with everybody live. But Mr. Snyder, what's new and exciting?
New. Well, June beholds lots of things. It does. It'll fix my hat. It
beholds
it
things?
Is beholden. It has. June is a good month. It's got lots of cool stuff in it. We've got the next 10-day challenge coming up.
Yep.
Which, remind me when that starts.
So the next 10-day starts on June 7th.
But then on the 2nd of June, so I jumped it, but the 2nd of June we've got air counts, right?
We do. You did jump it. Wow, you're kind of bouncing around on me here.
Well, I'm talking about the month of June. There's some cool stuff because there's even more in June.
Well, there is. There's lots of stuff coming up in June. So we've got the next 10-day challenge, which starts on June 7th.
Yep.
To be a part of the 10-day challenge group, you just need to log in to Facebook and search Renatus 10-day challenge.
Yep.
And you'll find it.
Join that group. That will give you all the sweet deets.
The sweet deets.
Yeah, and if you don't do the 10-day challenge, then you won't be a Spartan.
That's right. The only way to qualify to be a Renatus Spartan is by completing the 10-day challenge.
And if you don't do it, we kick you into a pit and yell, "This is Sparta."
This is Sparta. No, so I want to give a shout out first to Audrey Hansen. She's our home team member here who takes care of all of our 10-day challenge participants. 10-day challenge participants.
Yeah.
I was going to say 10-day challengers.
Or challengers.
They're part of the 10-day challenge, and she takes care of everybody. She responds to everybody. She keeps track of those people that are submitting their work on time, and helps those people who are maybe a little bit behind, trying to help everybody stay up to date.
Yep.
But the 10-day challenge has created such a massive wave of influence a massive wave of action inside of Renatus that we are encouraging all ICMs to not only do the 10-day challenge, but do it again.
Yeah.
And again and again.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard for me to keep up with like who's in what, who's doing what challenge and starting and stuff. But I know specifically, especially from the first challenge.
Oh yeah.
The first one that we did, I was seeing names of people putting in orders after that challenge that I hadn't seen. I hadn't seen their name pop up in some of them like a year or two.
Yeah,
right?
it had been a while.
It was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, this is the activity. This is, getting people back to the money-making activities. And some of those checks, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sweet payoff for those people who not only go through the 10-day challenge, but are effectively doing it.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because even today, in our meeting earlier today, we were talking about, being able to tell your own story.
Yeah.
And Bob goes, if people were paying attention, I laid this out in the 10-day challenge.
Yeah.
And then he walked through how to tell your story in the same pattern as the hero's journey, right?
Yeah.
And we've actually got a training that's going to be coming up in 2 weeks on the Founders Live about that.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Or, well, like not right now, but
I guess it's like 10 days from now.
10 days from now. That's one that you're going to want to be on. To be able to tell your story appropriately is the difference between a good salesperson, like one that actually sells, and somebody who's not having success. And,
right.
And being able to convey that, they say facts tell, stories sell, right?
Right.
Like there's a reason
absolutely.
for it. And those that can tell their story in a way that it transfers the emotion that you felt and feel all throughout it, right? Like,
oh yeah,
that's where it's at, right?
Yeah,
like, because people can identify
difference.
with that. They can relate to that. They can go, wow, like, oh man, I felt that, and I know because I'm there, or I have been there, and it's so much more relatable.
We could ask everybody on the line with us, to think about a time when you heard somebody tell their story, and it touched you, it affected you.
Oh gosh. Lots of times, yeah.
And I know, like, I watched this little thing the other day where it was a mother telling her daughter who was missing from her forearm down. She was missing her hand, and they had been raising money to get a bionic hand for her.
Yeah.
And this clip was like 15 seconds long, right? It was not a long clip.
Yeah.
But this woman said, hey, you know how we've been trying to raise the money to get your hand? Yeah. How much money did we need? We needed 10,000 pounds. We've raised 10,000 pounds.
Dude, and it's so impactful.
And it hit me. I'm like bawling. The little girl's crying, of course, but I was like bawling, just couldn't. It was an effective story.
Yeah.
It told what the problem was, and it told how they solved the problem, or how they resolved it.
Well, and, even beyond the story, like I think of Nixon and Judy Kasui, Nixon was he came here into the office to drop off a check, and it was really cool because I got to talk to him about he had just come back from Kenya building a well for an African village that didn't have water, right? Like clean water, and he was talking about how he's going back to do it again. In a couple months here, and how Renatus has really been the enabler for him to be able to do it. And so he's got a cool and powerful story, but the after story, like what he's able to do now, and that's his why, and that's his driving force, that really touched me. That really, like, when you start to think about the fact that there are people that don't have access to clean water, and then this guy over here in the United States is, taking his success and bringing it over there to help these people. I just, I turn into a puddle. Yeah.
You start contributing to the water table. I like it. It's really interesting because he put that post out on Facebook.
Yeah.
Where he talked about, this is my why.
Yeah.
And talked about how he was one time that kid.
Yeah.
And man, it just hit me hard.
Get you.
So anyway, in a couple of weeks we're going to be talking about that. But that's one of the benefits that come from the 10-day challenge, is the ability to tell your story effectively and being able to influence other people into taking action, into making a change.
Yeah.
The only person holding us back from overcoming our biggest obstacle is ourselves. We are our own biggest obstacle. Once we commit to
I'd say it's fear. If you're going to boil it down even past yourself,
well, absolutely.
I would say you boil it down even more. It's fear. It's fear of being successful for some people. I think it's fear of being rejected by others. I think it's just, the fear of, well, what are other people going to have to say about it, or all of that. And so you gotta find a way past the fear.
Yes. I wanted to read this quote real quick. I had to look it up because I don't have it memorized. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? And that's a quote from,
who said that? Because I know it was on, I think that was Coach Carter, the movie, that quote was cited. It was, and it kind of became popular. But I love that quote.
So this is Marianne Williamson
that said it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I love that idea. That it's our light, it's our opportunity. So, okay, I was talking to my son yesterday. Me and him were having a conversation in the car, and he was telling me about, he's working in this small group, right? There's like 4 or 5 kids. He's in 9th grade, so they're, early teenagers.
Yeah.
And they're all working in this group to accomplish this project. And he's telling me about this girl. And he goes, yeah, it's really interesting because she's smart, talented, and capable, but won't put herself out there for fear of being wrong. He's like, she won't answer the question. She won't take the initiative because she's scared of being wrong. He's like, even though she knows the answer most of the time, even though she's right, she's allowing that fear. And it was really insightful for my 15-year-old son to be thinking about why somebody wouldn't be putting themselves out there.
Yeah, that really is.
But it was really interesting. He's recognizing it even now among his peers. And I thought, adults are just teenagers that have grown up and put more filters in place.
100%, man. Well, even when you're a teenager and you look at adults, you're like, oh, they've got it all together.
Oh, yeah.
They've got it all figured out. They've got all the answers. They don't feel insecure. They don't feel these feelings of fear.
Right.
And then you get to be an adult and you're like, holy crap, nothing changes until you do, right? So you gotta actually work for those changes. They don't just happen because you grew up. So
right.
Yeah.
And it's just it's we too often allow our fear of success, not our fear of failure, to stop us.
Yeah.
Because
it's you don't know it. Like, it's sometimes easier to stay in a situation that you're uncomfortable in, but you know it.
Right.
Versus one that you don't know, but is probably not uncomfortable, right? Or, you know what I mean? At least a lot less.
And so many people get worried about, okay, if I succeed once, then everyone's going to expect me to exceed every time.
The spotlight comes on you because you get a lot of attention from it, and sometimes people, are shy and scared.
Well, I tell you what, I hope that everyone on this line feels empowered to make a change, empowered to take risks that could create failure in their life.
Yeah.
But oftentimes the first step to real success is failure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Gosh, this works on so many levels, because I can think of back when I was managing a gym, people would be afraid to come to the gym because they didn't know what to do, and they were afraid that other people that were there would judge them or think whatever of them. And the reality of it is, especially at a gym, most people have their headphones on and are not paying attention to what anybody else is doing.
Right. Yeah.
They're worried about themselves, and getting their workout, and so it's kind of funny because it's like everybody else is worried about the same thing, and so they're so consumed being worried about that thing that nobody's going to pay any attention to what you're doing anyways. So just get in there and start making stuff happen, man. And yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's kind of fun when you start to really break it down in your mind. What's really holding me back?
Yeah.
Why am I not at the gym right now? Well, I'm tired. I'm comfortable. I'm whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, for me, I just whoever the sitting president is, that's who I blame for all of my problems. Doesn't matter who it is.
Oh, well, I tell you what, my favorite part about the 10-day challenge is it encourages people to step beyond their own fear by giving them small and simple steps they can take to just start things off. And on this last Founders Live, I don't know if you guys caught it, but Bob gave you a 10-second marketing tool, a tool to market in 10 seconds or less. He had a text written out that had a link to a video in it. Now, granted,
don't tell anybody what it is. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. Go back. Well, I mean, if people don't know and they didn't see it, go back and watch that Founders Live. It's on the Facebook internet machine, so you just go there.
On the Facebooks.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. That Founders Live in particular, we went through a couple of updates that have happened on the app, a couple of the updates in the back office.
Do you want to talk about that update on the app?
I guess we could.
Yeah, just blurt it out.
All right, man. Here's the deal. The long and short of it is that inside of the app now, the most recent edition of the app, which if you don't have it, go into your Play Store, go get it, and realize that the name of the app changed.
Yeah, it did.
It's no longer Renatus Helios. It's Renatus Back Office. So go to your Play Store, look up the Renatus Back Office. If you don't have it installed, install it. If you do have it installed, go ahead and update it. And then when you open it, when you go into the little hamburger button, which opens up the More Options menu, on Android, it's the top left corner. On Apple, I believe it's the bottom right corner, the 3 dots.
That would be.
Anyway, so
just kidding.
You open it up, and you click on the Orders menu. And now in the top right corner on the Orders page is the plus button, which will allow you to actually submit orders through the app.
That is cool. That is so powerful. I know that solves a lot of problems for people too.
Yes.
Because now you can put in an order basically anywhere. I mean, when do you not have your cell phone with you and have service? Like, I can think of a few times, but it's not often for me.
Right.
And usually not when I'm talking to somebody who wants to buy. So,
and chances are that if you don't have service on your phone, you don't have service on your computer either.
Oh, yeah, totally. So anyways, though, but the point being is now you can capture the sale right away.
Oh, yeah.
There's no reason to wait.
Oh, yeah.
Get that order in the system, send it off to them to get signatures, or have them do it right then and there, but whatever works. But goodness, man, like get that order in the system. That is half the battle.
One of my favorite parts is that you can actually sign on your phone now too.
Yeah,
which means you don't have to use a mouse on a computer to try to
or a syllabus or nothing. Like you just use your finger.
A syllabus?
Isn't that a stylus? Syllabuses are from school. That's a course outline, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go.
Now you don't. The statement. The statement stands true. You don't need to use the syllabus to sign
the statement is
order.
still correct. So that is funny. That is funny. So all right, those are just a few of the things though that are covered in the 10-day challenge, and that and on the Founders Live. So watch the Founders Live, and then get into the next 10-day challenge, and don't miss your opportunity to start taking those small and simple steps that are repeatable, that are able to take you just over your obstacle one little step at a time.
Yeah,
I made fun of my brother one time. We were hiking up a mountain, and he was taking these like baby steps where he was literally just putting his foot just right in front of the next one.
Yeah.
And I said, why are you doing that? And he says, because it takes less energy to take really small steps than it does to take really big ones.
Huh.
Because when you're going up a mountain, you get an incline. You know?
It's true. And I mean, I take as big a steps as possible because it really works you. So,
exactly.
Yeah, but that's my intended purpose usually when I'm climbing a mountain.
Right.
So I want that buns of steel workout. You know what I'm saying?
That's not really that's not really why everybody walks up mountains.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool.
But it just goes to show that taking small steps requires less effort.
Yeah.
And the more small steps you take, the more distance you travel, and the easier they become.
Yep. So. Especially when it comes to those first steps.
Oh yeah.
Just in anything.
And you know what Mahatma Gandhi said.
Take those steps. Yeah.
The journey of 1,000 miles starts
with one step.
with the first step.
Yeah, well, it's like chopping down a redwood tree, right? Just one swing at a time, man.
Or what's the other one about an elephant? Isn't there one about how do you eat an elephant?
Alcoholics Anonymous uses one day at a time, right?
There you go.
It's basically just look at today. Quit trying to climb the entire mountain today.
Yeah.
And just focus on the step you got to take.
That's funny.
Today.
I brought elephants up, and you were the one who brought me back.
Did I?
Yeah, I tried to left turn you.
To alcohol?
You're like,
well,
let's talk about AA.
You know what?
I found Matt's left turn kryptonite.
We've come full circle. So,
yeah. All right. So here's the deal. The next 10-day challenge starts on June 7th. You brought up the update that Eric is doing on June 2nd. Now that's at 4 p.m. Mountain Time.
Utah time.
Mountain Time.
Utah time. Founders Live.
So, it's so funny. Every time I hear Bob say Utah time, oh my gosh. You almost said Founders Webinar. You said Founders Live instead.
Oh, I did. I was trying to say Founders Webinar. Crap. I get them all mixed up now.
He's trying to poke me in the ears here. Soon he's going to start saying mountain.
Mountain time. Mountain and Business Center. So.
All right. So here's the deal. We've got on June 2nd, Eric is coming out to do an update to his credit class. There have been some changes in policy that are going into effect as of July 1st. And so on June 2nd, we've got him coming in. It's going to be about an hour long where he's going to be at his home office. We're going to record him there, and then we're going to add it as an addendum to the current existing class.
Sweet.
The reason why this is a little bit special is because only those people who have qualified for the Everest Real Estate Conference are going to be invited to be part of the live audience. Everybody will get it once it's added as the addendum to the class. But for the live viewing, only those people that are Everest.
That live viewing will take place over like a Zoom type call.
Yeah, it's going to be a Zoom-esque call.
Yeah. So you don't have to go. You don't have to be here.
No. It'll, like I said, he's going to be in his home office. We're going to be here recording it. He's in, Arkansas? He's in Arkansas.
I think he's in Arkansas. Yeah.
I think so. So he's going to be in Arkansas. We're going to be here in Utah. We're going to record it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. But that brings us to the Everest Real Estate Conference, which is taking place June 9th through the 11th. That's coming up, man.
Yeah, that is really coming up, man. That's like in 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's gonna be a good time.
That's gonna be a really fun time in my favorite place, as you know. And for those of you that are going, that's cool and congratulations. I hope you guys utilize it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Because you're gonna have time to hang out with people, and that's what's important, right? I mean, the information that's gonna be taught is incredibly important, but like the intangible. It's
awesome because we talked about this for just like half a second before we got started. Part of the fun of the 10-day challenge is being part of a group of people that are holding one another accountable, that are cheering each other on, that are witnessing other people's breakthroughs and successes and are celebrating that.
Yeah.
And now with the Everest Real Estate Conference, the same thing. Yeah. We got a group of people that are all in the same boat. They're going to be coming together in one place to share and then be edified and uplifted by the instructors that we're bringing to take part of this incredible event. Right?
That's what it's about, man.
And we're going to come back. We got one more of those coming up here in just a second.
We do, because after Everest, we've got the Leaders Retreat.
Yes, we
do. In Costa Rica. And that right there is the ultimate, experience to be with all of the leaders of the company and spend time and get FaceTime and pick their brain and build those relationships. Because those relationships come in handy. Those relationships come in handy, especially when you've got a prospect. Say, a little thing I like to do is, if somebody has a certain profession or certain hobbies or likes or whatever, I like to align them with somebody who is a leader inside of Renatus that also has those likes and career or whatever it was beforehand.
If I had a prospect that dug Supercross, you're my guy.
You call me.
That's right. I call you.
Call me.
And we do a 3-way call.
Yeah.
And I say, dear prospect, I've got this friend who is powerful beyond belief, is doing all of these wonderful things. Oh, and by the way, he digs Supercross.
Yep. That's the move. He sits on his dirt bike in his living room watching it every weekend.
That's right.
That's right. Yes, that's what you do though, right? Like that's
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And whether it's like just that's precisely it. I was going to give a whole bunch of examples.
Oh, there can be so many different examples. We couldn't even cover them all. But getting to know the other leaders in the community, that's how you get to know those stories, is you spend time with those people. You talk with them. You chat with them. You hear not what they present from the front of the room, but, what they talk about in their downtime.
Yeah.
And then you can use that, bring it back into your own business to create a more powerful, influential, motivational success story.
Exactly. So precisely it. That is so valuable to your marketing business. So don't miss it. Don't miss Costa Rica for anything. That would be my advice.
I'm going to drop a little hint here. Not a hint, a warning. This is a warning for anybody who has not yet booked their room. We are over 75% capacity right now.
Oh, wow.
Which means we're almost out of rooms.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying this to create urgency so that we sell a whole lot of them, because we don't have a whole lot to sell.
Well, yeah, they're not going to. This hotel is not going to give us more.
Oh, no, they won't. They're already at capacity.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one, because there's going to be people that don't.
Oh, yeah.
That want to come, and they're not going to have a room.
I'm telling you guys, because you are our fans. You are our fearless tens of followers.
That's right. Find a way to book it now.
Yeah.
You do not want to wait and find out you can't come.
Exactly. And we would hate to be there celebrating all of the success that's happening all around us without you.
Yep.
We want you there.
Heart, we heart you.
We heart you. My kids have started to do this thing.
What does that mean?
So they do this, and then the other person does the other half.
Oh, so you make a complete heart.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so you like do this at each other.
Mm.
And then you're supposed to do it now back at me. See how Matt's not doing it? That's hurtful.
Do it.
Oh, there we go.
Do it. There we go. Look at that.
My kids would be like, Dad, you're such a dork.
The stuff teenagers come up with.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. That's cool.
So yesterday, I went to a lacrosse game.
Yeah.
Lacrosse, by the way, fast becoming my favorite sport.
It's fun.
It is.
It's fun to watch.
Ridiculous. It's fun. It's so quick and aggressive, and there's still such finesse and suave about it. Oh,
that's what I love.
It's like rugby almost.
Yeah.
It's got that same feeling for me. So we're at this lacrosse game. Now, lacrosse, the rules, there are a couple of rules that are really unique to lacrosse. The worst rule in all of sportsdom belongs to lacrosse. I think the second worst rule belongs to cricket, and then the third one probably belongs to lacrosse again. But the worst rule that I've ever seen, actually pickleball's got a weird rule too, but the worst rule in lacrosse is that when you shoot the ball and the ball goes out of bounds, meaning you miss the shot and it goes out of bounds, it becomes possession goes to the person who is closest to the line when it goes out of bounds.
Not the person it went out of bounds on.
Correct.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It is the worst rule.
That is weird.
Don't kill me because I love lacrosse. Don't shoot me for saying that.
Yeah.
It is just a weird freaking rule.
Yeah, that is wow.
Anyway, so I'm at the lacrosse game yesterday.
Yeah.
And I look over at my son again. Yeah, I love my son, okay? So I look over at my son, and he's got what I never had. He's got this curly, flowy hair. And so he looks like, I don't know, he's a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he looks at me, and I go, hey, I bet you $1, just like I did with you the one time. I said, I bet you $1 you can't get this whole crowd, because there's a whole bunch of students that were standing there. I said, I bet you $1 you can't get this whole crowd to start singing We Will Rock You.
Yeah, you bet me $2, I think is what it was.
I think I bet you one, and then you bet me $2
Is that
back.
what it was? Okay, yeah.
So anyway, he totally did. He got him totally chanting, "We will rock you."
Dude, that's awesome.
And now I owe him $1.
Well, yeah.
Or as we like to say in 2018,
to
10 cents.
Yeah, I was just going to say, thanks to the sitting president, that dollar is basically worthless. So you really came out on top here, Jay.
I did. It didn't cost me much at all, but it was a fun experience to see him go in there. And at first, he was apprehensive. He's like, he knows when I challenge him to do something like this that he's going to do it.
Yeah.
He just has to like work himself up to getting there.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious to watch him go through that.
That's cool.
Because every time I look at him and I say it, he's like, why, Dad? I don't want to. And I'm like, that's exactly why. You need to get over that fear.
Not wanting to, and yeah, the fear behind it, and then he still does it. He's successful. Yeah. That's quite a lesson to learn at his age.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's pretty neat. I don't even know, how did I get onto lacrosse and watching my boy do that? That's just nuts.
Stupid rules. I don't know. I don't remember exactly.
But we were talking about the Leaders Retreat.
Yeah.
We were talking about how people can create those relationships and how they can start to supercharge their effectiveness.
Yeah.
By being able to have that third party credibility.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Totally. And I mean, playing volleyball and pool. I've played both volleyball and pool volleyball at these leaders retreats. Sometimes, I don't know why, but we always play volleyball. So, yeah. And, it's just, there's just some relationship building that takes place that it's intangible. It's not. It's like not something you can really put a monetary value on.
And anybody who's 1, 3, or 5-star qualified can join.
Yep.
And I would emphasize for everybody who's listening that if you're qualified, you should join. You should be there.
You should be there, yeah.
Even if you're brand new 1-star qualified, join us.
More importantly, if you're brand new,
you
should join us. I mean, you need to be there. If you care about your business, you'll be there.
Yeah, if you're serious about this, you'll be there.
Yeah.
If you're going to look to move forward powerfully with Renatus, then be there.
Yeah.
Don't delay. Don't waste the time by saying, "Oh, I don't feel like I've earned it," or "I don't feel like you did earn it." That's why we've opened up the qualifications that we did.
Yep. So. Oh, totally. So, and I mean, there's so many things I'd be looking for, but particularly as a marketer, I'd be looking to sit down and talk with those individuals that I know are, doing like $30,000 a month or something like that, and find out what in the heck are they doing?
Yes.
How do they do it?
Yeah, and it's really interesting because as you get to know people that you've maybe never even heard of, you may find that they are doing things that are going to benefit you as well.
Yeah.
Where you go, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Are you serious?
Yep.
That is seriously cool. How are you doing that? Or can I use you as a reference or a resource? It's so cool because anytime that I attend a Renatus event, I get asked the same thing, which is, what can I do to help? Because people are always wanting to help. And then they always want to connect. And I'm always happy to connect with most people, but anyone inside of Renatus, I'm always happy to connect with them.
Me. He doesn't like connecting with me. So too many left turns, he says. I don't know.
Listen here, NASCAR. Sorry.
I'm gonna grow a mullet.
Yeah. Oh, dude, a mullet, pit vipers, one of those like handlebar mustaches. Yeah. Yes. I see it.
I can grow a mustache.
I see it.
Finally.
It's only taken me 30 years,
right?
Guys. So anyway, join us at the Leaders Retreat. You will not regret being there. Your business will explode in a way where you will look back and go, man, I will never miss another Leaders Retreat.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. Awesome.
Sweet.
I got one more thing that I want to talk about real quick, then we can wrap the call.
Okay.
The last thing that I want to talk about is the 5-star winner circle.
Oh, yeah.
So we have the 5-star winner circle reward coming up shortly.
Yep.
Where we've got a group of the top income earners going to Kenya.
Uh-huh.
Now, in this year at the national conference, Bob announced that the 5-star winner circle is going through a modification. So it will no longer be a March 15th to March 15th contest.
Yep.
Instead, we're going to host 2 contests.
Yeah, which is so much better.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be 90-day long contests.
That's why I think that anybody can beat anybody in a 90-day period of time, right? And so I really was pushing a long time ago for shorter sales contests. I really love the idea because of the sales back places I've worked in sales prior to being with Renatus, right? Did stuff like this a lot more, and it was so much fun because it kind of creates an anyone's game, so to speak, like, because you get a good week that first week or something, it puts you way out in front, and you can start to build off that momentum. I mean, and it's amazing what can happen, and like especially 90 days, those last 30 days get so crazy. It's so much fun.
Well, and the best part is if I join Renatus, let's say I joined Renatus today.
Mm-hmm.
If we were holding to our traditional 5-star winner circle schedule, I'm already 3 months behind.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
2 months behind. I can do math. Whatever.
But
I would.
You kind of throw your hand. I think it's easy to throw your hands up.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm 2 months behind. These guys have been doing this for a long time. They've got it locked in.
Right.
Whatever.
So now we're pulling it back to a 90-day schedule, and it's worth making mention of the fact that the 5-star winner circle only counts personal production.
Yeah.
It doesn't count overrides. It doesn't count calendar event fees. It doesn't count any of that other stuff.
Which is huge because that, again, brings it back to anyone's game. Because you may have people that make a lot of money because they have huge intensives and huge stuff like that going on where there are events that are paid for or whatever. Well, none of that counts towards the contest.
Right.
They got to put in a combo, just like you got to put in a combo to, or education sales directly to qualify to count towards this, and that could be huge for somebody that they lock in a few Epics combos and boom.
Yep. Exactly.
It's huge. So, anyways, okay.
Good times. Well, that starts on September 1st.
Okay, and goes for 3 months.
Till November 30th.
Okay.
So, I just wanted to give everybody a heads up to be thinking about that, be ready for it. The best way to get prepared for a 90-day sales cycle is to start selling right now.
Yes. Absolutely, because it takes a little time for people to go through the process and buy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people, in fact, I'm just going to talk a little bit from my own experience. I have seen contests in the past where people like to sandbag. Mm-hmm. They like to say, oh, well, this guy is going to buy, but I'm going to make sure that I don't sell to him until the contest starts.
Yeah.
So that I can make it count towards the contest.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, those sales, they evaporate. They go away.
They go away. I was just going to say that rarely ever works. Again, this comes back to the app and being able to put an order in and lock it in right then and there. Because if you wait, if you let them go for a week or whatever, they cool off and they're gone.
Yeah.
And you can't. It's very difficult to get them back. And so seize that moment. And I would say the opposite is what typically I see happens with these contests. People who just ramp up business right now, and that amount of business they start putting in builds up momentum for future business and future credibility and future everything, and then it kind of starts to compound, and then they have a good month before the contest, and then they kill the contest as well.
Well,
so
imagine how much credibility you can build up having a good month and starting the contest.
Yeah.
Being like, oh yeah, these are the people that are joining me. You should join me too.
If you made $20,000 last month and you're now going into the contest, like it's such a game changer. This concept applies across the board. It applies in so many different avenues of life, in the business world, in dating, right? I mean, how many times did we see people that I know I saw it, at least I can speak, like I actually watched friends of mine who didn't date at all really through high school.
Friends of his.
And
I got a
was
friend.
Was a total
asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. So, yeah, this was me. In case you didn't know, no, I'm just kidding. But like you start, you get a couple of dates going or whatever, and then it becomes so much easier to ask other people out on dates, and then
Yep.
get these, and then it starts to build a lot of like, oh, well, if this guy is, all these other girls or guys or whoever, gender wise, like whoever wants to go out on a date with this person, and it really starts to create something. I see that in sales all the time.
Yeah. Speaking of dating and competitions.
Yeah.
When I was between my junior and senior year.
Yeah.
So I was 16 years old. I was a young high schooler. So I'm 16 years old, and I looked at my buddy and I said, all right, man, before school starts, let's see who can go on more dates. And every weekend we had a standing double date. Like he and I would both get a date and we'd go out every Saturday night. And if you didn't get a date for Saturday night, you had to go anyway and third wheel the date.
Oh, no.
That was the agreement we had.
That is awesome.
Dude. Just saying. I had a lot of fun. And I made a lot of friends.
As a third wheel. I'm just kidding.
No, but I made a lot of friends. I got to know a lot of girls. And a lot of times I would be kind of silly about it and just be like, yeah, you know what? Me and my friend are going to hang out and have a good time. You want to come with us?
Yeah.
I'd love to get to know you better.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, that takes down all the auspices of, oh, we're dating so that we can take this further. No, I just want to get to know you.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And it built up my confidence pretty huge in being able to know that I can ask any girl on a date, and the worst thing that she can say is
no. Yeah.
And it took away all the fear of getting told no.
Yeah, and that same thing happens in sales.
Exactly. When you start to ask for the sale, when you start to get to know people and make it not about the end goal but about the journey.
Yeah.
Hey, come and progress with me.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden it takes away all of the fear, it takes away all of the lack of confidence and builds confidence.
And then this is what I'm saying about the previous month, if you get those orders in, you've got several sales that went in already, and you're talking to somebody and they say no, it washes off of your back so much easier than if you've been told no and you've sold nothing and you've just got a whopping zero for the last however long. And so those sales, and that happens to everybody, and you get stuck in this sales rut, and the good salespeople make the peaks and valleys a lot closer, right? Like they know how to, in other words, get out of that rut fast.
Yeah, they shorten the gap.
They shorten that gap, and they don't stay in that rut for very long.
When I knew that I was going to go out with a different girl every weekend, I was constantly in a cycle of finding.
Oh yeah.
Where I would keep meeting people.
Yeah.
I would deliberately go places where I could meet girls because I was gonna beat him.
Yeah.
Period. That's all there was to it. Yeah. I was gonna beat him. And so I would constantly get to know girls, and I would get their phone number, and then I would be talking to them, even though I didn't have a date scheduled with them for like 2 or 3 weeks sometimes, because I've got so many prospects in the pipeline. So if somebody told me no, and I already had the next 2 or 3 dates lined up,
no big deal.
It was all right.
No big deal.
That doesn't mean that we're not friends.
Yeah.
That just means it didn't work for whatever that time was. So look at sales the same way you look at building friendship.
Yeah.
I just want to get to know people.
Yeah.
And if I can help you with this, great. And if I can't, great. That doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Yep.
And I mean, how many times have you become friends with somebody and initially you're like, I don't like this thing about this friend, but then you spend enough time with him and you're like, hey, I actually appreciate that this guy does this because he's helping people, or he's, I'm trying to think of a really good example.
And just a thing that I see a lot inside of Renatus specifically is people are afraid to ask for the sale, so they're almost waiting for the prospect to just be like, here, take my money.
Right.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I did not go on very many dates where I didn't ask for the date.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's the analogy here, right? Like you get through with the follow-up, all right, which package is for you, right? Like, are you looking to just get started with the essentials, or are we going to go, X combo? What are we doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and then let's go bowling afterward. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Let's go on a date.
Let's go on a date. I just think that it's like, okay, here you go. Here's the example I was looking for. You love Supercross.
Yes.
I have never watched That's not true. I used to watch the races as a kid. I am not big into Supercross like you are.
Sure.
Now, you talk about Supercross, and I love to listen to you talk about it because you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
And hearing your passion makes me more excited for it. So then the next time I go and see a kid on a dirt bike, I know what to look for as far as the technical skill and start to appreciate that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or it's like the fights, right?
Yeah.
I used to think that the UFC was brutal.
Yeah.
But then you start to watch it and you realize, yeah, there is definitely aggression. However, there's a lot of strategy and skill and patience and
I love it. And listening to, there's a whole bunch of podcasts out there with UFC fighters and stuff going, and listening to their training regimen and the stuff that they're trying to get technical about, like they're trying to learn how their ground game or stand up fighting and whatever. And like, it makes watching fighting so much more interesting. It's not just a backyard brawl.
Right.
It is a sport, and it is technical. And the same thing with Supercross, right? It's not the guy that can just pin that throttle the fastest, because that's actually not, that's what it used to be, but it's not anymore. And it's become so technical. And these guys hire Olympic cyclist coaches, and they literally monitor their heart rate while they're racing, and they got to get it down, and they got to eat this, and they got to sleep this many hours, and they got to, it's unreal what it gets into, right? And you know, what size tire are they going to use for this track? And I mean, I love it, dude. I love it.
The technicals that go into it, but it just, you can always appreciate what other people are passionate about.
Yeah.
And when you start to appreciate that passion, it's like when you meet a parent. Parents love people who love their kids, you know? And so if you meet somebody who's got a kid and you pay attention to the kid, all of a sudden you're going to make a friend with the parent.
Yeah.
Because people love people who love their kids.
Yep.
And so anyway, the whole point of the story is be friends with people. Get to know them. And then ask for the sale.
Yeah.
And if they say no, say it's all good. We can still be friends.
Yeah.
And still be their friend.
Yeah, I love it.
Anyway, Veronica put out here that she's the one who's afraid to ask for the sale. And she says, simple conversation is a huge mental shift for myself right now. Veronica, you got this. Just be yourself. Be kind, be patient. And when you get to know people, take a genuine interest in what it is that they're passionate about. Listen to that. Listen for those nuggets in the conversation that let you know what they're passionate about. And when you identify it with them, for them, it's a game changer. They love it. People love that.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I hope that all ICMs are paying attention right now to what's going on inside of Renatus. The 10-day challenge, the Everest Real Estate Conference, the Leaders Retreat,
the 5-star.
The 5-star.
Yeah.
I hope that you guys can see that we're doing everything we can to inspire while removing obstacles, every single ICM to go out there and start creating their own success.
Yeah.
Just do it.
That's what it's about.
Just do it.
Yep.
Just realize that the person that looks back at you in the mirror every morning is the person you have to overcome first.
Yeah.
Be positive, be passionate, and don't let fear stop you. In fact, use fear as a motivator. You know, use that. If something makes you nervous, granted, assuming that it's not, life-threatening, but if something makes you nervous, maybe that's the reason why you should go out there and do it.
Yeah.
If it makes you nervous to get up in front of a crowd and start having them sing "We Will Rock You" or do the wave like we did that one time, just do it. Just get out there and give it a try.
That's a whole nother conversation. Yes, I completely agree, because when you start to overcome those things you're afraid of, your comfort zone starts to expand.
Oh yeah.
Right? And you grow as a person, but there's so much that you're not afraid of, and things that you may not have accomplished and are afraid of will become less intimidating when you accomplish this other thing that you're afraid of. And it's just this compound effect. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
And the vice versa would be like, becoming really fearful of everything and staying at home, and you see people do this, and I know that there's like all sorts of, there's panic disorders and anxiety issues and stuff that drive people into this, but the worse it gets, the worse it gets. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
you gotta upcycle.
You do.
You got to cycle out of that upwards. I love, Veronica put a comment on here. She said, success is an uncomfortable process. Don't pursue success if you don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, you gotta find a way to start getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And you got to realize we talk about the core beliefs, the 4 core beliefs when it comes to Renatus. One of them is that everybody needs Renatus, and they do. And honestly, if they say no, it's their loss. It's all right. That doesn't make you less than because somebody said no to Renatus.
Yep.
It doesn't change who you are at all. Anyway, we could talk about this for a long time.
Go out there and suck less.
Like I said earlier, oftentimes failure is the first step to success. So fail fast and fail forward.
It is true.
But don't be worried. Don't be scared of the no. Don't be scared of asking for the yes. Don't be afraid of your success. Don't be afraid of your light. Just get out there and let it shine. This little light of mine. Come on, sing with me.
Let it shine.
I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah. All right. Well, I tell you what.
Singing now. You better wrap it up.
That's right.
We're going places here. I mean, this thing is falling apart.
It's hilarious because we literally had like 4 things to talk about, and we've got almost an hour.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome though. It's been a great conversation. I hope that it's benefited you guys just like it's benefited me. The reason my why. I identified this the other day. My why is empowering other people. I love to empower people to go out there and start implementing the tools that I've given them to create success.
Yeah.
So go out there and create success. Make me proud. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We will be back next week with a featured guest. Promise we will have one next week. And, between now and then, don't forget, Renatus rocks because the people who are associated with it. Renatus rocks.